name's Michael Kanalakis. I've been a Jets fan since I was born, so 20 years now, and yep.
I'm Elijah Vigo. I've been a Jet fan also since I was born, so that's like 17 years now. But I'll be 18 soon. And this
And
is the
we
New
are
Era
conducting
Jets.
to do the New Era Jets podcast, which will be
Yeah,
dropping every Friday.
yeah. And today we'll talk about the free agency and recent Jets news and a mock draft.
Good. All right, so starting off, since today is March 2nd with the recent news, Jets are engaging in trade talks for Devontae Adams,
Mm.
and we're also planning on letting DJ Reed and Tyler Conklin walk.
I was just about to say that. I just seen that before I joined the podcast. Well, obviously DJ Reed, he was gonna go, he was gonna leave because I remember him saying that, yeah, I'm out, bro. Like he basically quit on the team.
Yeah, he was
And
done by like week 5.
yeah, and then Conklin, I wanted to bring him back because he's such a. We probably could have brought him back for like a little cheap deal. Maybe he's a solid tight end, but I mean, if we really want to draft Tyler Warren, then go ahead. I wouldn't
That's
mind.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, and Devontae, he's
I
a
don't know how I feel about that. I personally, I've been on the let Rogers walk, bring back Devontae train, but I understand they want to play together. So
yeah, because Devontae he's so old. He's like 32. He's still great. Just like he wants to play with Aaron. So wherever he goes, Aaron's gonna go.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
what do you think? What kind of how much is he worth?
I mean, I know right now for us, his contract, I think if we brought him back was 38 mil, which way too
Yeah,
much. Yeah,
way too
that's
much.
absurd. But I mean, with how shady it is right now, I guess in the NFL, with like you need consistent receivers, as you could see, and obviously consistent quarterback. I think 22, 23 is fair for him for this upcoming season.
Yeah,
I mean, what? And he played for 11 games with us,
yeah,
produced 800 yards, I think 7, 8 TDs. Like, yeah, he was getting force fed, but
yeah,
he still proved he could still play at a high
yeah.
level.
But if we were to trade him, what kind of what kind of pick you think he's worth? Third, fourth?
I mean, I try to use the Debo one as comparison. Like,
Yeah.
they get a fifth pick for Debo.
Hmm.
If we're being realistic, Devontae had a better season than Debo, but
Way better.
he is on the older end. So
Hmm.
I don't think it's crazy to say we could get a fourth or fifth for Devontae.
I'll say at least to be
Even like a
generous, a
fourth or
fourth,
seventh, maybe. I don't even think that's
a
too.
seventh.
Yeah, a fourth and a seventh.
Okay. That's what I say. Just
Or
a
like a
seventh is
fourth and a
crazy.
sixth. You know what I'm saying? Like a two
Yeah.
pick combo for
Oh
Devontae.
yeah, yeah. It's just the thing is like what teams would like trade for him that are looking for like a quarterback to mentor probably.
That's what I'm trying. I mean, you've probably seen all the stuff with the Giants and
Yeah.
talks. I mean, if they both went to the Giants, it'd be funny. I mean, it would
Hmm.
help for sure. If we're being realistic, that's probably the best offense they'll have in
Pro-
recent years.
yeah, probably.
I'm trying to
But
think what
then
other team.
I saw a rumor about the Colts.
Yeah, I just saw the Colts today. I mean, I
Hmm.
could see that, but I don't think you could give up on Richardson just yet.
Yeah. Maybe just
He's
like
been
to mentor him.
Yeah, exactly. He could mentor him. Yeah,
Yeah. And if anything, we can
but then
get
you got to carry on that contract. That's the whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. But also,
And
the
are
Colts
you gonna
have.
pay him over adding other pieces to use around your young quarterback?
Yeah. Yeah, the Colts have like a lot of good wide receivers. Let me think. Michael Pittman, he had a little down year, but he's still pretty solid.
They got Pierce too. Pierce
Oh
is a good
yeah,
dude. He's
oh
been
yeah,
growing. Yeah,
yeah. He was killing us that game.
yeah,
And then who's the other guy? Downs.
yeah. Downs hurt his back though. That was a little scary. That little
Mm,
back injury, but I think he'll
yeah.
be this year
And they
for sure.
also got that one rookie. I forgot his name.
Oh, wasn't it Mitchell?
Mitchell. Yeah, the one that killed Sauce.
Le'Veon Mitchell? Yeah.
I remember he killed Sauce that game. Oh my god. I mean, I believe me. I love Sauce. Sauce Gardner. He's probably my favorite Jet.
Him and Garrett have been my favorites since they
Yeah.
got here. But I will say, I mean, you could going through my Jets account, I was on his ass this whole season just because. But I mean that's a good thing if you look at it.
Yeah.
Like he's so good and had such a historic first 2 seasons that as Jet fans we were getting mad about him giving up maybe 50, 60 yards in a game because we were
Yeah.
so used to not even giving up 20 yards. He wouldn't give up a TD in a season. So
Yeah.
I do think his tackling does need to improve, but it did improve towards the end of the season. And now with no DJ Reed, I think he's gonna have a huge year next season.
Yeah. And my stats may be wrong, but I believe this whole season he led around 300 and something yards and
Yeah,
one
336.
touchdown. 336.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. He gave up one TD, and all of us fans were like, "Ah, he doesn't deserve that extension." I'm like, "All right, that's like ridiculous."
that's literally an average like season for a DB for any other corner in the league.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you
So,
tell,
would
like,
you with us releasing or with us letting DJ Reed and Conklin walk? Just in your broad opinion, where would you look DB wise, and who would you look tight end wise to bring in to replace those two? Because obviously, DJ Reed does carry a bigger load than Conklin does, so I think we have to focus a little more on the DB spot now. But if we don't hit the tight end spot right, that also affects the run and the pass game. So I do think both are pretty big.
yeah, for a DB, I was thinking that also because I mean, there's a few corners like one I played with Aaron Glenn, Carlson Davis.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's
I
a
think
pretty
he's
solid. Yeah, probably like a
correct.
2 year, 12 million maybe. Actually, he might look for a little more because he's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And for other corner, hmm, I like 49ers Charvarius Ward.
Yeah, I had on my notes. I had Travarius Ward, Rasul Douglas, and Byron
Hmm.
Murphy. Just because I know Byron Murphy with the year he had, he's going to be asking for an extension,
Yeah,
and I don't think they're going to give it to him. So I could see him walking, but that's the thing is if we that would cost us a little more if we went the Byron Murphy route.
yeah,
But someone like Rasul Douglas, I don't think would be a
hmm,
bad option. Like you
yeah.
said,
He
Carlton,
cheap.
I think Carlton Davis is the most realistic option right now, going into free.
Yeah, and also for a Ward, I even thought myself that's pretty like, unrealistic because I don't know if you remember. I believe he was beef. I forgot who he was beefing with at the beginning of the season. Was this Garrett or
It
Sauce?
was Garrett. They were going at it, and then Sauce came in. I think Brees was in it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
I
trying to
mean,
remember.
the whole thing with Ward though is like
Yeah,
obviously he went through that unfortunate situation with his
yeah,
daughter or whatever, and that stuff did play a toll on him. And like you
hmm,
said, it carries a lot, so he wants to get out of there. So I mean, it's very unfortunate, but
hmm,
not that we could get him for a cheaper price, but if you could pick someone up like that, his demand in free agency I think will be pretty high.
yeah. But first of all, rest in peace to his daughter. I mean, it's unfortunate for that to happen. Just to go
Oh
through all that. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. But I would love to have him honestly.
oh I know.
Yeah,
Put the beef behind and just go win games next year.
yeah. Put the beat behind, like yeah.
How
And
about
for
tight end for me personally? On the
yeah,
tight end position, I'm thinking we go. I think I've liked Jawan Johnson since he came in the league as a
mm,
tight end for the Saints. I think there's a chance we can maybe get him, but if not, I also had John Bateson from the Commanders.
mm-hmm,
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's anything special like over the top, but he is a better blocking tight end. So like that
mm-hmm.
would help our run game a lot. But my number one priority tight end would definitely be Jawan Johnson.
Jawan John. I actually had that on my notes too. Jawan Johnson. It was
Hmm.
a 1 year, 5 million because
Yeah,
he's
I was having him around 6 or 7, but
yeah,
he could be one of those 4.5 $5 million, and
yeah,
I mean that's a steal in my opinion. He's a
yeah.
big target, and let's be honest, our tight ends this last year were atrocious in the run
Too.
game.
Oh yeah.
Atrocious.
Was he good at blocking? I don't really know too much
Juwan
about him.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely they used him like 80% in the run game, 20% pass
Oh,
game.
then that's good. Yeah, we need a lot, lots of block for like the run game because our
Mhm.
run game was oh my goodness. Yeah, it was
Bro, our
terrible.
team, I don't know how you felt with this last season, but we underperformed so much, dude.
I know, like it was.
I was so frustrated. I had such high expectations. I was bragging all off season to my friends. This is the
I,
year for the Jets. And
mm,
then we go 5-12. Like
five and
we can't
12.
even go 9-8 and barely miss the playoffs. Like a 2015 season where we barely missed that wild card. But no, we just don't even
Exactly.
make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, this season, like there were so many ways we lost the games. Like, I
That's when I was like, we're genuinely
yeah,
cursed. I couldn't even. There was no
yeah,
explanation to it at that point. I'm telling you.
yeah. I even go by losses. All right, first one, week 1. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We just lost as a team. We couldn't.
You
We
know, we,
couldn't beat the
we, we
Niners.
strictly got outplayed that game.
Yeah.
That's
Then week 4, Denver Broncos. I don't know how we lost.
that
Greg
was
Zer- Greg Zerline. Oh
Greg
my god.
Zuerlein needs to pack it up. I'm sorry.
I was at that game too. I don't know. Like I was on. It was on my dad and like a few friends. So
Hmm.
we were getting ready. So like usually I'm not too bad about Greg Zerline because last season he's making field goals like no hesitation like 50, 60 like.
I'm saying
So
that, dude.
I'm like he got this, he got this. And I look, I'm like from my angle it looked good, but then I hear the crowd I'm like he missed that,
Hmm.
and I just like We just left.
Just
I was
swooped
just
left, bro. I'm
disbelief,
like, come on, bro. I almost broke
dude.
my table watching that.
Oh my! And I remember the week before he had a bad miss against the Patriots, and
Yep.
I'm just like, it's probably just a one-time miss. You know, he missed here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following week against Minnesota, oh my god.
See, that's the thing. That's why I was saying. I mean, you've probably been keeping up with all the Jets
Mm-hmm.
news, with all these fan pages and everything.
Uh huh.
What I don't understand is, I completely get the whole thing of Rodgers, four-time MVPs, Hall of Famer, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he did have a good year in Jets terms because we've never had good
Yeah,
quarterbacks. But
exactly.
for these fans to be like diehard over him, where it's like, our team's screwed next year, we're rebuilding. Like, what does 5-12 look like then? Like, are we
Exactly.
just gonna forget we went 5-12 just because Rodgers threw for 3,800 yards, 28 TDs, and 11 picks? Like, are we gonna forget he had four chances of game-winning drives, was throwing pick sixes to D linemen? Like, there's obviously he wasn't the only reason we lost. Like you said, there was Greg Zuerlein. The defense underperformed completely, but we can't just sit here and act like just because he's a Hall of Famer that he was the savior of the Jets and we completely let him down. Like, I think it
Yeah,
was pretty hand in hand.
yeah, yeah. Those pick sixes. You'd be surprised how many pick sixes he's doing in his career.
But
He's only
it seemed like every week it was something new with the Jets. Like,
yeah,
this is the first time in his career he did this. First time in his career he was trailing at this point. I'm like, it was just adding records every week.
dude. I'm convinced like our team is genuinely like cursed. Like I'm convinced at this point. Like
I don't know how. Like, I'm really hoping something changes. Like you
I'm
said, like
praying.
after we hired the whole, or no, it was the end of the year when Woody Johnson came out and said he needs to be a better owner. Like,
Yeah,
that was kind of shocking to me because I hate Woody Johnson personally. I don't
me
think
too.
he's a good owner. As you can
Mad at
see,
ratings.
the team doesn't think he's a good owner. But if he stays true to that and actually
Yeah,
lets him, put the team together and Moogie put the team together they want, then I do think we have a chance to turn it around.
yeah. At least it's accountability. Like for most
Yeah.
owners, they would not say any of that.
hmm
But like
That
I was
part
saying
is
about
good,
Minnesota,
the accountability, but then
yeah,
obviously, because it starts at the top. If your owner is going to take accountability, then it's pushing your coach to take accountability. Which then you said your players are going to have to take accountability if they go out there and they're not performing to the standards they need to.
yeah. Back to while I was talking about Minnesota, I remember that game. I woke up mad early for that game. I believe it was like
Yeah,
9 a.m.,
it was the
8
9
a.m.
a.m. game. Yeah, I was up mad early for
Yeah.
that.
Now I had pretty high hopes. I mean, starting off the game, I actually starting the game we did horrible. I mean, defensive
Every
wise,
game we started off with 3-and-out or something.
yeah. And then I remember we had a fumble recovery that could have been a from Quincy. That could have been a touchdown. And
Yeah,
then Darnold,
Quincy didn't trip. That was a scoop and score.
I know Darnold barely tackled him and he fell. And
hmm
then I was like, we're looking pretty good. Next thing you know, to be honest, I didn't expect it. Who was it that got that pick six? What's his name? Van Ginkel.
It
Van
was
Ginkel.
the dude they picked up in free agency, Van Ginkel. It was the
Yeah.
same. It was the same kind of concept where Rodgers threw that pick six against the Seahawks with Leonard Williams,
Oh,
where the D lineman disguised in the coverage and then he dropped down, and I was like, that's why when I watched that Seahawks game, I was so mad because I was like,
yeah.
you're telling me this like one of the greatest quarterbacks to touch the game, he never made those mistakes in Green Bay, and now you're telling me he can't read a coverage.
Oh my.
Like, those specialties he was known for were those click slants, getting out of a blitz. You go back to
Exactly.
like the Broncos game when he got smoked off the backside on that fourth down. I'm like, he's never had stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like being able to like pick up a defender who's gonna blitz. Like, he's never had those problems, and then it's like comes to the Jets and it's like he's struggling at a point where we've never seen.
Yeah. So I won that pick six against Seattle. That's a little while ago. I was
Mm-hmm.
with like a bunch of like people. We were joking around about quarterbacks. I believe we had mentioned that we seen better from like Tim Boyle, seen better
Mm-hmm.
from like Tommy DeVito. Then he said Drew Lock, and tell me no, tell me. I said, and I said to myself pick six because I remember that game he had against the Thanksgiving he had a pick six.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why the next play, literally the next play, a second, all I see is Leonard Williams. He looks like a Russian quarterback, gets in coverage, tips the ball, catches it, and I'm like, no. And the funny part, Rogers didn't even try to stop him. He like, I don't even seen. He looked at him. He took one step. He's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, you let it go. Of course, it was Leonard Williams too. That's
Yeah,
just what I'm saying. It always ties back to the Jets.
yeah.
You let
He had a
Darnold walk and dude throws
look at
30
him.
TDs. Come on, bro.
Yeah, like,
Geno Smith has had consistent great years with the Seahawks, top five in the
mm,
league in yards. So going
yeah.
going back to the free agency talk,
Hmm.
I mean, if we could transition a little bit free agency to draft aspect.
Hmm.
What approach do you think the Jets are taking free agency slash draft wise, as obviously the quarterback is the most unanswered
Okay.
question in our
All right.
franchise.
So besides the quarterback, I mean, obviously we're gonna need a receiver. We're gonna trade Devontae, and we're
Hmm.
most likely getting rid of Lazard because he cannot catch.
Yeah, that'll help us free up some cap. So we definitely need to
Yeah.
pick something up.
But for a wide receiver, I had some hard time trying to find this because like there this upcoming draft they have like a lot of good wide receivers. First you got Tech McMillan from
Hmm.
Arizona.
If we could score him, that would be huge.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think it matters about the approach
Mm-hmm.
because like the mock draft I was doing before
Mm-hmm.
we got on this, I was taking him with our seventh pick if we don't trade it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the only way we could take him at seven, in my opinion, is if we already have QB established. Where, okay, we're 100% either trading up and getting rid of that seventh, and we're gonna go draft a quarterback, and then we're gonna have to look free agency for a receiver, or we're gonna stay at seven and we're either picking up. In my opinion, free agency, the only quarterback is Justin Fields. You
Yeah.
either, in my opinion, you either run it with Fields, you either run it with Tyrod Taylor and you build around him, which is crazy to sound, but I've always been a Tyrod believer. I don't think
Yeah.
it's
Me
too
too.
crazy to say. But then, if that's not an approach that Glenn wants to go down, then you have to trade
Mm-hmm.
up in the draft and get Cam Ward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward's better, but like I said, I would take Cam Ward or Shadur. I don't think Jackson Dart's a horrible option, but I don't think he's game ready to be the starting quarterback.
He's had a pretty good day today. I don't know if you've seen. He was throwing some
Yeah, he
darts.
was giving me kind of what's it called, Zach Wilson flashback.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't relate to those pro days anymore
Yeah,
because that stuff scars me.
yeah. But I mean, he played for Ole Miss, and that's like a
Yeah,
correct
yeah,
me.
no
Is a
SEC.
bigger school than BYU, right? It's bigger than BYU, right? Am I wrong?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah. Because
SEC
like,
competition's so different. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like, it's a little different. Also, for a wide receiver, there's also another guy from Ohio State, I f- like I can't say it. Abuka or
Abuka
something.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Abuka.
he said
Yeah.
he would love to play with Garrett.
Mm-hmm. But that's
That's
the thing is, do we get him? Actually, yeah. He I think he'll
he
be a
could be
second
there.
rounder, right?
I believe he had a pretty good season. He probably might be in the first round.
Yeah. So he looks like more of a lower first, higher second. So
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying is it all comes down to that's why I'm saying with the whole approach thing is it's kind of trying to I don't really understand our approach right now because I you keep probably seeing the reports where there was a report last week and even today it just came out recently that obviously we've been in trade talks with the Titans,
hmm
but the one I saw today said it's becoming more clear that we're less likely to trade up for the one and we would rather run it back with like a veteran quarterback and they put Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields in the article I read today and I was like
hmm
that's what I'm saying is like the whole outcry thing too is I mean I from what I've seen fans would lose their mind from what I'm seeing if we announce we're starting Tyrod Taylor, which to me it's not more of we're starting Tyler Taylor. It's okay if you're gonna take that risk of having Tyrod Taylor be your QB1. I need to see assets added in this draft and free agency to assure that we have a chance to be a winning team. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I know what you mean.
Like you can't run it back with Tyrod Taylor at QB1 and Garrett Wilson's your receiver one and then your receiver two is what Malachi Corley. Like I think Corley could be good, but like
Yeah,
what Xavier Gibson?
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Corley. Obviously he didn't do too much. I mean, he was like a healthy scratch for like most of the season,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously I feel like the the touchback against the Houston that
Yeah.
played a huge part in his season. Like he lost like confidence.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
Oh, believe me, I was yelling.
But
I was
that
at
is
that
the thing
game.
too. The new coaching staff, I think,
hmm
or like you see with other teams, hopefully, new coaching staff, I think, could help him build confidence and give him
Yeah,
those opportunities that this recent coaching staff really wasn't giving him. Because, like you said, the whole plan in my I thought was to at least give him kick return reps and then let him
yeah,
build into a player. But instead, you just throw the dude in week 4, and then obviously that was one of his first NFL snaps. Yeah, he's gonna have the jitters. He's excited. Yeah, you
yeah.
shouldn't do that, but you also didn't really set the dude up for success in the moment.
hmm Yeah, and also even I thought like it was a touchdown, and I already knew like they showed a replay on like the big screen at MetLife, and I'm looking at
Hmm.
like, oh no no no, he just dropped it, and I'm thinking like that's his first NFL touchdown. He should be holding like this like a baby like
You're
that's
not
your
getting
first
rid of
ever
the ball.
touchdown. Exactly, and
No,
that's
that
what
was
he
brutal.
does. Yeah, but he has potential. He should do kick return in my opinion instead of Gibson. I love
Hmm.
Gibson too. I love his underdog story. Just like
That's what I'm saying. The whole Bills punt return, that thing was electric, and his whole
yeah,
story kind of got, I think, me as long as all the Jet fans on that train of supporting him. But if we're talking production, he really hasn't, in my opinion, earned that
Yeah.
like role where it's like, yeah, there's no chance Corley could take that spot. Like I feel like that should at least be a battle between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he's on the smaller end. Like that was my biggest pet peeve last year. I think it was against the Broncos. We had a 3rd and 8 or something, and we're throwing a fade ball to Xavier Gibson. When at the time we had Mike Williams, you have Alan Lazard. Like,
Exactly.
some of the play calls were questionable, but like I said, new coaching staff. I'm really excited for the new staff wise, and I think just in terms
Mm-hmm.
of draft and free agency, it really does come down to the position we're going to. But if it
Mm-hmm.
was me, that would be the approach I took.
Yeah.
I would keep the 7 pick, not really trade away anything future wise. I would
Mm-hmm.
hopefully try to get Fields, and if that doesn't work, I don't think running it back with Tyrod Taylor would be too bad as long
Mm-hmm.
as like I said, you pick up those assets of like if we could get McMillan at 7, and then you have to obviously address DB with the corners we mentioned. If we could get one of those dudes in free agency, you got to pick up that tight end, and then obviously there's the two outliers, the two big extensions between Garrett and Sauce. Those have to be taken care of ASAP. But I do
Mm-hmm.
think with the departure of Rodgers, I mean, we've seen the reports. Garrett seems to want to stay, and
Mm-hmm.
Sauce is open about wanting to stay. So I don't think we lose either of them. So
Yeah.
that part's huge because those are two players in our life. Like those are generational players.
Yeah. Another player for extension. I don't know if you heard recent news. Sherwood
Yeah, I saw
reports are
about that.
saying that like there, there's one thing I was worried. I'm worried about. Like if you were to extend Sherwood, would that most likely mean like Mosley's going to be like released?
Yeah, that's the scary thing. But that's
Yeah.
the problem is, I mean, for me, like you can't find a leader in today's game like Mosley. From
Yeah.
what I've
Exactly.
like just watching him, like he, in my opinion, solely like yeah, there was obviously help, and it's not a one-player game.
Mm-hmm.
But him coming to New York really changed the trajectory of our defense just going forward. Like
Mm-hmm.
you look at the numbers pre CJ Mosley and post CJ Mosley, like he really transformed that defense. So that's why it's kind of like one of those hard like band-aids to rip off, where it's like he is getting older, and that neck issue was very
Mm-hmm.
serious last year. And it's like, as much as I don't want to watch him go, Sherwood did kind of emerge into this star. And if we could for sure lock down Sherwood, and then now you have Sherwood and Quincy Williams running it out there, like
Oh,
it might
speaking of
be the
Quincy,
better approach. Oh yeah, no,
number
dude, Quincy
56.
Williams is he's turned into one of my favorite players on the team.
Yeah, and also that means I'm assuming that we would extend Quincy too, because like he's really underpaid for being like a really good linebacker. Like,
All pro.
yeah, all pro, and he's a great in real life. He's a great person. I got his autograph a picture.
Oh
I mean,
cool.
he's amazing. He's that out of all the Jets players, he's the one that most likely you would get autograph from. Like, obviously, the people like Aaron Rodgers. I seen him like almost every game I went to. He just like walked by. Like
Oh,
there's a tunnel that every player goes out, and he just like he never comes out down. He like goes some secret tunnel to his car. Like, oh yeah. And everyone else, I mean, I got. It depends how the game goes. For Brees, I got Brees. It's up there too with Garrett too. Those are
okay.
both autographed.
Yeah, that's smooth.
Yeah, and I was able to get both of them. It just
That's another thing too. I'm excited for going forward. Is like I said, it's a whole expectation thing where I feel like it's almost a blessing in disguise. Where Sauce and Brees had such high expectations because of their first 2 years,
mhm.
that this last year we labeled it as underperforming, and like all of these fans were coming for the throats. But yeah, the fumbling aspect Brees has to work on, which I don't
Yeah,
think will be a problem going into next year. But that's why I think Brees and Sauce have a very good chance, and that if those two come out firing next year, that also leads to the rest of the team.
definitely. And also going to free agency, I got a few resigns that or and cuts too
Okay,
that
cool.
I want to go over. First of all, cut. This is pretty obvious. Greg Zerline
Yeah, gone.
out of here. I think I had another one.
Michael Clement.
My oh yeah. I forgot to write him down because because we played him so much, he got like
Hmm.
a
Yeah,
two
I
extra
saw that.
for doing nothing.
Don't even get me, dude.
For doing nothing, like
I will say he's interacted with a couple of my posts, so shout out to Clemens in that aspect.
mhm.
But in terms of football, he could go find a different team, respectfully.
Yeah,
No hard feelings. He could go find a different team. We'll move on.
yeah, and then Lazard, obviously too.
Yeah, Lazard's obvious because
Yeah,
I mean that's just more of looking at the numbers. I had if we release both of them, or at least Lazard, it will save us 36 mil
yeah.
space. So that's just a given because obviously we're trying to go a different route at this point.
And then this one hurts to say C.J. Mosley. If they can figure something out,
That's
I
what
would
if
love.
he took like a if he took like a
Yeah,
veteran approach of like
yeah,
taking a pay cut just to stay with the team, go ahead,
yeah. I'm
100%.
pretty sure he did one. He did that last year too. So
Hmm.
he don't care about money. He actually like he. That's what like he's a team player. He don't care about money. Like he
That's the
genuinely cares
biggest
for the
thing. That's
team.
what you need.
Like yeah, exactly. And I think that's all I got for cuts. And then for resigns, I want to bring Moses back, but reports are saying we're not gonna resign him. Even though
Yeah, I
to me
agree.
that's a dumb decision. He's a
Yeah, no,
we can get for a
that
vet
was
minimum.
that was big. The one of the bigger ones I
Yeah,
haven't agreed with so far.
yeah. I had him for like a 2 year, 10 million, pretty cheap.
That's good, yeah, because he was one of the
Yeah,
dudes who also didn't really care that much about money. So
exactly.
that was
He
something
wanted
I
to
was
stay.
pretty excited about. Was recently, I do think the last couple of years our O line slowly has shaped itself. But that's the
Hmm.
thing is, we're not going to bring back Smith, obviously, and you're going to lose
Obviously,
Moses. So it's like, but I'm excited for what is it, Olu Fanush? I can't even say his name.
Fashion New. Yeah,
Yeah, when he's going to be fully a first year starter this year. I'm really excited for that.
yeah.
But then, like you said, that definitely does mean if we're gonna let Moses go, you do have to bring, we're gonna have to bring in someone through the O line, which I haven't really looked into yet, offensive lineman and the free agency route, but I have seen some things through Twitter. For me personally, I was my two big ones. Um, I think you have to bring back Brandon Eccles. I mean, in terms of
Hmm.
ball, like, he's just simply a ball hawk.
Yeah,
No, there's no way to put it. And then Mills was one of my favorite
yeah.
players
I
from
love
college.
Mills.
He plays like he gives me kind of that like flashback Jamal Adams type of player where like
Hmm.
it's just he's just straight go no matter what the score is, no matter what the time is in the game, like he's straight go. So
Hmm.
for me, if we could bring Eccles back on a 2 year, I had Eccles 2 year 18 mil, and then I had Mills 2 year 13 mil, which I do think that could be a little of an
Hmm.
overpay for Mills.
Well, you said Eccles. What was Eccles one you said?
I think Eccles would be around the 2 year, and then I had 16 to 18 mil, so 7 8 mil a
Mm,
year.
I know for pretty cheap. I'm not gonna lie, because I would say he's sometimes inconsistent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, but he's definitely like he can get the interception, get that pick six.
Yeah,
He,
exactly.
yeah, exactly. And for
Well,
Mills,
before Sauce got his first pick last year, he was our only dude with interceptions.
exactly 2 interceptions.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and then Mills had him for cheap too, cause like Mills is getting older, so like
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
That's just more one of those things. I think it also comes down to the whole idea of what how the players look at it. Where I do think Mills loved like embraced the New York culture, and then I do think Eccles is embraced that idea. But it's also it comes down to you see how NFL players are is like are they willing to take maybe a little lower end of the pay grade to stay with the Jets, or are they just going to try to walk somewhere? But that is also something for both of them. Honestly, I don't see them getting more money from other teams in free agency than the
Hmm.
Jets. So that is one of those things that I do think we have leverage on them in that aspect of like I don't think they're going to get paid more elsewhere, so they might as well stay with us. And then I had Ashton Davis in like the
Mm.
yeah, I have him in like the gray area where it's like could re-sign him, could let him walk, and like I don't really think it's too like I think he adds more value in like the tackling aspect. Like in my
Hmm.
opinion, his coverage was horrible. Like
Yeah.
he cannot cover. But on the tackling end, like he knows how to tackle for sure. So
Mm.
that part helped our defense a lot, forcing fumbles, like I said. So that's why I kind of have him in the gray area where it's like that all comes down to the whole idea with our defensive approach. What type of coverage we're running. Does he fit that scheme? Does he not? And then comes down to what the coaches want to do. But yeah, I had him in the gray area, and those were kind of like the big three I had in terms of
Mm.
re-signing and all that aspect.
Yeah, and also he's a ball hawk. He can get that turnover. Yeah,
Hmm.
would it be like as a backup or a starter safety? You would sign him for?
I would definitely re-sign him. If we re-sign him, I would put him as a backup.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be confident, just in my opinion, if we ran it back next year and going into the season, Ashton Davis was a
yeah.
starting safety.
He's got to work on his coverage, but other
Yeah.
than that, he's solid. Also had a for one last. You probably forgot Irv Charles. He had a really good for
Oh
special
yeah.
teams, and
Yeah,
also
Irv
because
Charles, yeah, he was
yeah
that special team. I forgot
yeah
about him.
yeah, and also since he's a special team guy, you can get him for like cheap,
Yeah, I was gonna
like a
say
1 year,
maybe
two
call him two
million.
grand. Yeah,
Nothing too big, you know.
that also seems like one of those
Yeah
locker room dudes.
yeah.
Like he seems like one of the guys that you need in the locker room to kind of gel the team together. So yeah,
Mm.
I would definitely be down to bring him back.
Yeah, yeah. That's all I got. Also, who's that? I cannot say his last name. Kane Nwang
Oh
Nwangu.
yeah, no,
Nwangu.
he played with a different type of
Yeah.
fire too. I mean, he's got to work on his hands for sure, but
Hmm.
that was
He only
one of
played two
the. I
games.
do think in terms of the blocking, I think he was one of our better blocking tight ends
Yeah.
in the in the short
Oh no,
chances.
he's a running back. I
Who are
said
we talking about?
Kane Nwangu. You remember
Who?
the guy that
No,
against Seattle?
I'm
You
thinking
remember
of
against?
Kenny.
Oh yeah, your boy.
Kenny Mo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Nah, that's
thinking of
good.
Kenny. Yeah, I'm thinking of Kenny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He was the
I
one.
like Kenny. I like Kenny
Yeah,
personally, so I want to bring Kenny back in the tight end realm.
yeah, him too. And yeah, for Kane Nwangu, he was the one that got that,
The
but
kick
kick
return.
return.
Hmm.
Yeah, like his first game of the season. To be
That
honest,
was fun.
I'd rather have him at kick return than Gibson,
That's
if
fair.
anything.
He actually took. What, he had like 3 or 4 returns of over 30, 40 yards this year. Like
Yeah,
in a short chat. What, he was with us for 4 weeks,
yeah.
if that.
Not even two. Like for Gibson, like I forgot what game it was. They were like 30 yards, 20 yards, and he calls a fair catch. Like you got all that room
That's what I'm
to run the
saying. And
ball. Like
going back to the Gibson thing, I just don't.
yeah, like
It's hard because that Bills moment like was
yeah,
insane. Like I was so happy, but
yeah,
you take that away, it's like what has he proven?
yeah,
That's why
yeah,
I'm really hoping when you said like the idea of accountability with this new coaching staff. Like I am really hoping that the new coaching staff comes in and really shapes the team around where it's like this idea of like all these dudes are just locked in. Like there's no way their spot could get taken. Like you have to kind of change that culture where if you're not performing, you're gonna have to get not
yeah,
replaced, but you're gonna have to find what makes the team win.
yeah, exactly,
Like I said, we completely underperformed. We tried going all in. Like we were really in the idea of all in, and we went 5-12. Like who else does that happen to?
exactly. We had a better team like the most teams in the league, and
That was
and
frustrating.
yeah, and honestly, there were games that like we actually like played good. It's just that like we end up like
It's the
let me
fourth
think.
quarter.
Yeah, fourth quarter. Let me go back to all the losses. So then it was after Minnesota, it was Buffalo. That was a game that Aaron just called out Michael.
Yep.
Yeah,
On the red line.
on the yeah. As much as I hate, I was mad at Mike Williams. Whose side do you want? You think? You think it was more to Aaron's fault or Williams' fault?
I personally, I mean, I could see both arguments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely get, Rodgers, they had to play, he's supposed to be on the red line, but then again,
Mhm.
you are the quarterback, so,
Yeah.
and let's just be honest, like, yeah, he was supposed to be on the red line, but if you rewatch that clip, he had the safety overhead and he had the corner coming from behind. So
Yeah.
even if Mike Will got to the red line, that's not even a guaranteed
Yeah.
catch.
But like,
I,
if you don't
that
remember,
was crazy to me.
yeah, he also like when he looked back and realized the ball was coming after him, he like kind of slipped.
Hmm.
But I think if he was at red line, he could have caught that. 'Cause he's a deep ball threat, so most likely he would catch it. But then he
Yeah,
probably got. But then that safety that was coming, he probably would have hit him hard and just
yeah,
like
he would have got smoked.
yeah.
That's what I'm
And
saying. I mean,
his injury history, so he was definitely gonna get injured. So then back
that's
to
just looking
losses.
back on it. It's like
Yeah.
the past is the past, but like you
Hmm.
said, we are 5-12. So that's why I'm saying like the idea of letting Rodgers walk, yeah, it
Hmm.
sucks, but I think it's needed just for a
Yeah.
whole whole culture shift too with the new coaching staff. I do think you have to let Zerline walk. That just makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Cut him, release him.
Yeah, no, cut him. Just
Yeah.
honestly, he
Yeah.
deserves to get cut. But yeah, it's the whole approach. I mean, I don't think we're gonna trade the seventh pick,
Hmm.
but like I said, it comes down to the thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Just yeah. All the losses like Pittsburgh. Yeah, we just lost as a team. We just
that
played
game.
horrible.
See, for everyone's different. I personally blame that loss on. I don't blame it 100% on Rodgers, but you probably remember that exact play. Well, we had
Which
like a
one?
minute 30 left before half. We're already leading.
Oh, he threw the pick.
I literally was telling my mom when we were watching the game, all we need is 3 here. Do not have a turnover.
Yeah. Don't just
Next thing
force
you know,
it.
Rodgers tries gunning it in. What was that to Garrett Wilson, who wasn't even looking?
Y-
Bam, picked off,
Yeah.
and then that changed the whole. That changed. Think of it. Our defense was playing lights out. We had the Steelers.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was about to get benched. The fans were
Yeah.
booing, and then all of a sudden you give them momentum going into half, and then they come out second half and just steamroll us.
Yeah. Then Brandon Eccles gets smoked by George Pickens.
Oh my god.
And then I don't know if you remember there was I don't want to blame it on Garrett, but like I remember like he tried catching the ball. He
Oh
tried to
yeah.
do like what Lazard does, catch it with his body and just
Off the
point
chest.
and almost a pick six. Then Devontae with this Superman tackle.
Yeah.
You don't.
That was brutal.
Yeah. And then going into that following week, New England, I was Oh my, I was
I
like,
mean, I'm
there's
not
no
after the
way.
Steelers. I kind of had the feeling of like, yeah, the season's going nowhere, and then
Hmm.
the Patriots game kind of just ensured it for me.
Yeah, that just
I
ruined
was
my.
telling myself I'm done with the Jets, like I do
Yeah,
every week, and then I tuned in and I was like, are you, like we just couldn't get anything going, like once again.
yeah. Like you told me, we lost to Jacoby Brissett. Like no,
That
no
was
offense to him.
that was in my that was Sauce's worst game of his career. That
Yeah,
the Patriots game was brutal.
yeah. Other than that, actually, in my opinion, his worst career was that Colts game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument for both. I mean, he definitely
Yeah,
like I said, it was a down year in terms of us fans, but you know, stat wise, he still did have a pretty good year.
yeah,
But
yeah. But after that
I'm
one week,
excited for the next season with him.
yeah,
Like I said,
with Glenn too, and assistant DB coach, I think
oh
he's gonna
yeah,
have a really good year.
I mean, what's it? Wilkes, the new DC we signed.
Oh yeah, and I'm also talking about the defensive back, assistant defense. He was a former Pro Bowl corner. I don't
He
know.
was. Did he come from the Cowboys?
I think he played for Detroit Rams. He won the Super Bowl with the Rams, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, we lost just a bunch of games we shouldn't have. But that's the past now. Now we're going to the new season
That's what I'm saying. New
with a
coaching
new
staff.
defense. Exactly.
Hopefully new accountability through the team. Gonna
Definitely.
have new faces, so that could be different. But yeah, I mean that's really all I've
Yeah.
got for free agency and draft aspect. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, throughout this next week, as we get closer, we'll start getting more reports about our approach, where we're looking. Free doesn't free agency technically start March 12th?
Yeah. And then franchise tags actually end pretty soon, right? Like on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's
So
next. Yeah, yeah, that's coming up.
yeah, we don't got to worry about that.
Yeah,
What about like fifth year options and all that?
I think that's they have to make the decision. I think soon, right?
I believe isn't it like a few days after draft you can make the decision something like that
I
maybe
think it's March 19th.
March. Yeah. If
I
anything,
could
we
be
probably
wrong.
get we could pick up the fifth year option on Jermaine. Obviously, he had a
Yeah, I was
towards
gonna say
Achilles.
Jermaine Johnson.
I was gonna say it for Sauce too, but since he had a quote unquote, it might have been a down year, but still a good year, we could still pay him
That's
probably.
what I personally I would. What's your opinion on Jermaine Johnson?
Hmm. I'll pick up fifth year option, see how he plays,
That's fair.
and if he plays good, extend him. And
I'm
he's a
per
true
like
team
I
player.
don't know if you've been seeing all of his tweets and everything, but I think he's gonna have an amazing year next year. Just
Yeah.
by the way, like, he's got that dog mentality. He's got something to prove now.
Hmm.
Obviously, the team didn't perform the way he probably was expecting, and he's been really pushing this idea of accountability and changing the
Hmm.
culture. So I think it will be huge, one, to have him back on the field and in the locker room, but two, I think he's just gonna have a great year individually,
Yeah.
which will help our defense.
And he's just a great player in general. Like he wrote that like big paragraph, just like talking about Jets fans and all that. Like,
Yeah, I saw you.
and then we got people like Quinnen after we released Aaron Rodgers saying like another rebuild for me, I guess. And then
Yeah, and then that stuff pissed me off with
yeah,
Quinn Williams.
he's a grown man. He should know like
That's
to
what I'm
take
saying.
like
And
it's
that's the whole
nothing
thing is
new.
I understand players liked him, but
Yeah.
I keep coming back to it where it's like I made a post about this recently on my Jet page where
Hmm.
it's like it all comes down to the same thing of accountability. It's like you guys are defending Rodgers, which I get. Okay, he had a good year in terms of us, and he did have a decent year in terms of quarterback play. But like I said, we went 5-12 as a team. So, these guys like Quinnen, Quincy, like all these dudes who are coming out now saying, "Oh, I guess we're going to rebuild." Well,
Hmm.
if you guys would have done your job and performed the way that you were paid and supposed to play, we wouldn't have to even have the conversation of, well, what route do we take now?
Exactly.
'Cause like for us Jet fans, we just went 5-12, and in an all-in year, we didn't even make the playoffs, even close to it. How would we be excited if you just say we're running it back with the same team?
Exactly. Like we just
Like
need a new
it's
culture.
lose lose. So like, yeah, it sucks that you got to let Rodgers walk, but it didn't work out. Like some things don't work out. You have to move on then.
Exactly. That's pretty much all I got for free agency and draft. Do you have a mock draft that you want to get ready?
I mean, I really only focused on the first two rounds for
First
mine.
two.
But like I said, for mine, I had uh, what's his name? I had McMillan going to us at 7, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have what is it? I think we have the 7th or 6th pick in the second round. I
Something
had
like
us
that.
taking this was this was the idea that if we didn't trade up and if we didn't go quarterback free agency, I would take Jackson Dart early
Hmm.
second round. But then it also comes down to that whole conversation of We already have Jordan Travis as a rookie, so like,
Yeah.
why if you're not going to take a rookie to start, that's not worth it. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really sat down and like really looked into who's in like the obviously the big names make sense in the
Yeah.
draft, Ethan Graham and everything, but I haven't really sat down and put together like an official mock draft.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it really it's hard to say right now like what approach we would look at for the draft because
Hmm.
I mean the stuff came out today, so we already know we're gonna lose Adams and Lazard, so receivers a hot spot.
Hmm.
You're gonna lose Conklin, so tight ends a hot spot, and we're gonna
Hmm.
lose DJ Reed. So those are three key positions and quarterbacks. So
Exactly.
there's four. And then if the news comes out that we're officially not bringing Moses back, now you need an O lineman. Now you're looking at five. Like I said, D line is
Hmm.
gonna needs it's gonna need another piece of help because you'll have Jermaine and you'll have Quinnen, but Hassan Reddick didn't work out. We're not bringing him back.
Hmm.
Cut Clemens probably or let him go. So that's six different positions that you could look at
Hmm.
realistically, the free agency and the draft. So like I said, it kind of just depends on cap space, what teams are releasing the players because like I saw something today that the Saints might release Tyrann Mathieu. Not a
I would take him.
yeah, not a horrible thing to look at for safety. So that's what I'm saying is like as this stuff progresses throughout the next couple weeks, we'll be able to actually look at like in depth into numbers and like realistic pieces for the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly had a yeah. I only focus on first round based on positions that we need. Tight end. We also I like the Tyler, of course Tyler Warren. He's
Yeah, Tyler Warren.
generational. We passed up on Brock Bowers. I wasn't too mad about Olu, but then the guy from Michigan, Will Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
to pair with Sauce, and Mason Graham, of course, pair with Quinnen. That'll be amazing. And then yeah, also I didn't even have to commit. I had a Luther Burden.
Oh, Luther Burn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I played Luther Burn in high school.
really?
We played
How
him in
was it?
our state championship game. It was I've never seen someone faster to this day.
Wow. So that'll be good to see him drafted. So
That
we'll
would be
see.
fun. I mean, yeah, those are all realistic options. Like I said, I mean, it could be cool too if there's any way. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If I don't know how we would, if we could trade the seventh pick, maybe maybe move. Like I saw
Up or
when
down?
I was on one of those like what is it? It's like one of those websites where you could do like the mock draft thing.
Oh yeah.
It'll throw out like mock stuff to you, and it
Hmm.
was like a mock trade for the Texans offered me for our seventh pick. It was like they would give up I don't know what first round pick they had. It was like the 32nd and then a first round pick, like something like that, where maybe we move down like a couple picks in the first and then have a lower first or a higher second. Like I don't know how realistic or even if that's the approach we want to take because I do think the front half of this draft is pretty loaded. So, like I said, I personally wouldn't move down. I don't think we're in a spot to move down. If anything, we move up. But Mason Graham would be if we could get Mason Graham, that would be huge.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would
Perfect.
be huge. But
Then
like Will Johnson,
mhm.
I think would be.
Yeah.
I think Will Johnson's a great player. He would be amazing to pair with Sauce. But that's it. Comes down to which piece is the most important at the end of the day for us. That if we need to take one, which one are we going to take?
Yeah.
So if you that's how I think we should end this episode. If you drafts tomorrow morning, Jets are staying at 7. What player are you picking at 7?
Well, I mean, obviously, it all comes to free agency, who we sign.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I'm taking Tyler Warren,
That's fair.
generational tight end, another weapon for whoever quarterback we got. And obviously, like if we don't get Chris Olave, I was gonna mention that we haven't really mentioned about him. But if we're mostly not gonna get him, I'll be honest,
Yeah,
because
no,
that
that's why I was gonna bring it up, but I also feel like that's kind of on the unrealistic end. But like you said,
yeah,
it all. That's what I'm saying. In these next couple weeks, we could actually see if that's a realistic thing or
yeah,
not.
we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, if I was to suggest, I would take either Tyler Warren or. Cause I feel like Mason Graham might be in the top five for sure, but
That's why.
but
Yeah,
if
a
he's
couple of the
there,
mock drafts you see have him going 5 or
yeah,
6.
yeah, but I would take Tyler Warren. He's just a generational talent.
That's it. That's why I look at it. For me, if I had to go, and the seventh pick comes, if Mason Graham's off the board, I'm going Tyler Warren. But if it comes down to it, and Mason Graham, it's between somehow Graham and Tyler Warren are available at 7. I feel like like I said, that comes to a toss up. It kind of also depends how free agency goes. But I do think there's a little. I would go Tyler Warren personally because I think we could get in free agency. I think we could attack more D linemen than there are
Yeah,
in and valuable targets as tight end. So I don't think you could be able to just pass up a generational tight end like that. And then, like I said, if the two tight ends I had were John Bates and Juwan Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't get Juwan Johnson, like I don't think running it with John Bates as tight end one would really excite the fan base or even be like a high expectational thing. So, like I said, you can't pass that up if it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the draft. But you got anything else to say?
That's all I got. We'll catch you guys next Friday.
All right. This is New Era Jets. We'll see you next episode.